Chargers fans, something is happening inside this organization that almost no one is talking about. Not the mainstream media, not the national insiders, not even the rival fanbases who have no idea what's coming. But if you follow this team closely, you can feel it. A shift. A tension. A moment that could explode into the biggest turning point of our season. And today, right now, I'm going to tell you exactly what's unfolding behind the scenes. So stay locked in, because what you're about to hear might change the way you look at this team for the rest of the year. Chargers fans, take a breath, because what I'm about to break down goes far deeper than the headlines and cuts straight into the heart of this team's future. Something bigger is shifting inside the walls of the franchise, something that isn't being reported, but is absolutely being felt. Quiet conversations. Hidden signals. Decisions hanging in the air that could redefine the entire direction of this season. Those who truly follow the Bolts know when the energy around this team changes, and it's changing right now. Behind closed doors, whispers have started to surface. Not random rumors, real internal discussions, real movement, real signs from people inside the locker room. Momentum is building toward a moment no one else in the league is prepared for. This isn't the usual noise. This is the type of situation that flips a season on its head. Before we dive into the newest and most important updates, take a second. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, drop a like, and hit the bell icon. This is the place where Chargers fans get the fastest and most detailed news before anyone else. Alright, let's move into what's really happening. A rare window finally opened. A moment where the Chargers could address one of the biggest weaknesses holding this defense back. Colin Saunders, Super Bowl champion, powerful interior lineman, and one of the most physical run-stoppers left on the market, was traveling, visiting teams, and weighing his next move. He's exactly the type of player who could walk in on day one and patch one of the most painful issues this team keeps suffering from, the lack of a true presence in the heart of the defensive line, especially against the run. It's been a recurring wound, one that has bled into critical moments and cost this team dearly. But then came the loss to the Jaguars. A loss that didn't just hurt, it exposed everything. And instead of attacking the opportunity, the Chargers went completely silent. No calls. No negotiations. No urgency. Nothing. A chance to strengthen a weakness that keeps showing up, and the team just let it sit there, untouched. This silence, this hesitation, this lack of movement, it's not just a missed signing. It's a signal. And understanding why that signal matters is exactly what we're going to break down next, so stay with me. The consequences of that hesitation were felt almost instantly. While the Chargers stood still, Colin Saunders shook hands with the New York Jets, and just like that, another golden opportunity vanished right in front of us. Now, to be fair, not everything this year has been a misstep. The addition of Odafe Oweh was sharp, aggressive, and exactly the kind of forward-thinking move winning teams make. His impact has already flashed on the field. But then you look at other decisions, and the picture gets blurry again. The Trevor Penning trade, for example, something that was supposed to solidify the line, still hasn't produced the spark everyone hoped for. And missing out on Saunders only deepens the growing concern that urgency isn't being treated as a priority inside the front office. And urgency is everything when you're fighting for ground in the AFC West. Right now, the weaknesses are impossible to ignore. The run defense remains a soft spot opponents attack without hesitation. The offense collapses the moment it's forced into unfavorable situations. Losing Poona Ford in free agency left a crater that has never truly been filled. And while Ter Tart brings talent, strength, and grit, he still needs a powerful partner beside him, someone who can anchor the middle and command double teams. Bringing in a player like Saunders at the start of the season, even if it meant tweaking the cap later, would have sent a loud message: we're here to win now. Instead, we're left hoping the front office wakes up before the season's midpoint. Because if they don't, this hesitation could come back with a cost no one wants to pay. The kind of cost you only recognize when the AFC West lead has already slipped away, and all that's left is regret. Week 11 was supposed to be the moment everything shifted. A chance to punch back, restore confidence, and show the league that the Chargers weren't folding under pressure. On paper, it was a game built to reignite belief. Stay with me, because what happened next says everything about where this team truly stands, but what happened next wasn't just disappointing, it was a gut punch. A moment so jarring that every Chargers fan felt it in their chest. That 35-6 loss to the Jaguars wasn't a simple bad game. It was a siren. A warning. A message that something inside this team is far more unstable than anyone wanted to admit. Justin Herbert going down with an injury during the game changed everything on offense. Losing your franchise quarterback mid-battle is like losing your heartbeat. The rhythm disappears. The confidence drops. The entire identity of the offense collapses. But even with that setback, it doesn't explain what happened on the defensive side of the ball. The defense didn't just struggle, it got steamrolled. Nearly 200 rushing yards allowed. 4 rushing touchdowns. That's not just a weakness, that's a system failing right in front of us. And when one of your most respected veterans steps in front of the microphones with frustration written all over his face, you know it's serious. Khalil Mack didn't sugarcoat a thing. His message was sharp, emotional, and brutally honest. He was furious. But he didn't stop there. He made it clear that the only way out of this is unity, accountability, and a team-wide decision to respond like a group that's actually hungry for something this season. Then comes the stat that cuts the deepest: time of possession. Jacksonville held the ball for more than 37 minutes. The Chargers? Barely 22. That one number tells the entire story. The Jaguars controlled the tempo, the clock, and the entire narrative of the game from start to finish. Meanwhile, the Chargers were stuck in the quicksand, unable to shift momentum, unable to establish anything on either side of the ball. Under Jesse Minter, this defense was supposed to build an identity, toughness in the trenches, disciplined fundamentals, and enough physicality to win ugly games when necessary. But none of that showed up. Not an ounce of it. When you can't stop the run, and you can't sustain drives on offense, you're playing a style of football where even a healthy Herbert couldn't save you. And now, the bye week arrives like a breath of air in the middle of the chaos. A pause. A reset. And maybe, just maybe, the only chance to fix what's been falling apart before the season slips out of reach. Stay with me, because what comes after this break will define everything. The bye week isn't just a break, it's a reset button. A chance to strip everything down, rebuild the mindset, and correct the structural flaws that were exposed so brutally against Jacksonville. Because when the Chargers step onto the field next, there won't be any excuses. And the opponent? The Las Vegas Raiders, an offense that hasn't found its rhythm all season. Fans aren't just hoping for a response, they're demanding one. How this team comes out in the next game will tell us everything we need to know about the final stretch. The energy, the urgency, the fight, every bit of it will paint a picture of whether this roster still believes in its own potential. Jim Harbaugh didn't waste a single breath trying to soften what happened. His message was sharp, cold, and brutally straightforward. We were beaten in every possible way. We were physically outplayed. Those words echoed like a warning shot inside the locker room. Especially when he pointed out the first down disparity, 30-8. A number so lopsided it reveals the entire story by itself. Jacksonville dictated the game. They controlled the pace. They controlled the field. And the Chargers never punched back. Then there's the offensive line, which continues to swing from decent to disastrous. Trevor Penning, who was expected to stabilize things, left the game early, and the inconsistency up front became painfully obvious again. If Justin Herbert is going to run this offense the way it was built to operate, he needs protection, not chaos. And without a functioning run game, the entire attack collapses under pressure. The backfield situation isn't helping either. Omarion Hampton, the explosive rookie who had become the engine of the ground game, hasn't played since week 5. His absence is being felt deeply. What's left is a rotation lacking depth, lacking burst, and lacking a true difference maker. Kamani Vidal has been giving everything he has, but asking him to carry the entire load is simply unrealistic. Herbert has been cleared after the scare, but that moment served as a reminder of something the entire league already knows: this team relies heavily, almost entirely, on its quarterback. Any injury, any setback, any slight physical issue from number 10 changes the complexion of the offense instantly. Protecting him must be the number one priority moving forward. Yet despite the brutal honesty, Harbaugh didn't paint a picture of doom. Far from it. He made it clear that there is still time, still potential, and still a path forward, if the team chooses to respond the way champions do. Stay with me, because the next section will show exactly what must happen for this team to rise again. The Chargers may be shaken, but the season is still in their hands. At 7-4, they sit 2 games behind Denver, a team holding a 9-2 record and the head-to-head edge. That gap is real, but far from impossible. And the timing of the bye week couldn't be better. This is the moment to reset the mind, rebuild the structure, and sharpen every detail that slipped through the cracks. It's the window to get healthier, to bring players back into rhythm, and to tighten the pieces that haven't fully connected yet. If Trevor Penning finally settles into the system. If Omarion Hampton returns with the burst he showed early in the season. If the roster finds its physical edge again. Then the Chargers can absolutely regain momentum down the stretch. But Harbaugh didn't hide anything. If the same mistakes from the Jacksonville game repeat, the season could slip through their fingers faster than anyone expects. There are needs that simply can't be ignored anymore. The defensive line must be reinforced. No team survives giving up nearly 200 rushing yards a week. You can't win the AFC West when opponents can run through the heart of your defense without resistance. The backfield also needs another spark. Kamani Vidal is fighting every down, but he can't shoulder the entire workload alone. Depth matters. Explosiveness matters. And Penning? He needs time, technique, and relentless repetition. The offensive line has to become a unit that protects Herbert, opens lanes, and wins with physicality, not a group that wavers week to week. Khalil Mack has been a warrior, but he can't carry the identity of the defense by himself. The whole unit needs to rise with him. This is the moment for unity. The moment to demand more. But also the moment to stand behind a team that still has a path forward. There is still hope. There is still time. The story isn't finished yet. What happens next depends entirely on the choices made by the front office, the coaching staff, and every player wearing the lightning bolt. Stay with me, because the final stretch of this season is about to reveal who the Chargers truly are.